Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
So my name is Vikas Chaturvedi. Very delighted and honored to be here with all of you. I understand this is almost the lunchtime, so most of you would be looking to get out of this room as soon as possible. But I can assure you that next 10 to 15 minutes I'm with you, I will make it impactful and a lot of learning that you will derive from this session. So, before I get into the slides, let me first ask you here, how much of you understand what networking is? Can you raise hands? I don't see hands here. Do you socialize? Do you network? Do you meet? Do you greet? I don't see hands. You all are hungry. So am I. Okay. Basically, networking is the action and process of interacting with others to exchange information and develop professional and social contact. It's a layman language. But friends, what is very important is, what you need to understand is why two people meet in networking. They meet for an object. So like any other concept, what is very important is, when understanding the basic concepts of networking on who, what, where, how. So I'm going to discuss that in the next 10 minutes with you all. But before that, let me quickly tell you about myself, that when I was approached by the institute, I was told that the theme of this event is pale blue dot. Now, when I did some research on what this means, I found a very interesting photograph where planet Earth was depicted on the huge vast space. And what made a striking impact on me was the impact that Earth was making in that photograph. So for this topic, I chose the word impact as the theme, and then the concept, which has been very close to my heart, that is networking. I thought, why don't I share with you and discuss with you about impact networking. Now, people do say we network all the time, so we meet people, we go out, we socialize. But is that the real networking? Are people who are making contacts, are they successful enough to make it called as a successful networking? And that's where I see there is a gap in overall understanding of networking and to be a successful networking. So the difference between this, I categorize as something called as impact networking. So I'm going to present to you the concept of impact networking, which I have derived. But before that, it's very important, as I started with, to understand what networking is about. And amongst the concepts of networking, what is most important is, it's about who. Who are we talking about in networking? So always remember, it's about you and the like-minded people that you meet in a professional setting. It's between two people that talks about networking, that specifies. Why? Why do you network? I mean, we all go out, we all socialize, we all meet new people every day. The world is full of amazing people. But why do we network? We network to find something of mutual interest which could connect two people. Now, what do we do in networking basically? Very essentially, we meet people, we enjoy with people, and create positive energy with those people. And most importantly, together, jointly, we build mutually satisfying relationship. And it's not only about that you meet new people every day, but it's also about the old ties that you have. You must reactivate those dormant ties. So it's also about the people that you have met in the past. That includes an overall frame of networking. Now, in my experience, friends, I come from city of Mathura, and in the last 20 years, one thing which has immensely impacted me is networking basically. And today I network with all the people across the world. I have friends over 50 plus countries, and it immensely helped me in what I do today in my business. Certainly, beyond any doubt, I can say it's the most important social capital I have built. And my message to you is, if you do it right, you can achieve the same thing. Networking can impact you significantly. It can be your biggest social capital that you would have achieved so far in your life. Friends, you would be amused to know the power of networking is as such that with 3 to 4 degrees of an introduction, you can reach anyone and everyone in the world. So here it is. When I started networking, when I started looking how networking can impact you, I looked at the profile of Barack Obama on LinkedIn. I'm a LinkedIn user. And it just turned out that Barack Obama is a second-degree connection for myself. That means a friend of mine is connected to Barack Obama. And I was quite amused to see how this can impact, how networking can impact and can connect you to anyone and everyone in the world if you do it right. So, very important, it can create massive impact on you, and the impact that you create not only on yourself, but also at society level, you can create huge impact. Now, where do you do networking? You do networking in college, you do networking in social function, you do networking at business event or professional event. So these are basics of networking. Now, what is very important, what is very crucial of networking is how you do networking. And where people make mistake is not in the other concepts, but where people make mistakes is in how of networking. So I thought I'm going to share some important elements of impact networking which defines how of networking. So when I say important elements, these are the elements. So I call it as impact networking. This comprises of 6 very important elements. And if you use these elements in your networking, you will be a very successful networker. Now, what are these 6 components? What are the 6 elements? These 6 elements are 6 letters of word impact. Now, what is the first letter? The first letter is I, meaning you. So remember, everything in networking starts from you as a person. Now, when you say you as a person, it's very important to understand that when you talk to someone, you present yourself as a full package to that person. You should build your own DNA as to how you should be recognized by the other person that is talking to you. Do not pass misleading messages. Do not pass signals which confuses your identity. So I is very critical. Define yourself, that before you go into a networking event, define who you are, define how you would like to associate and how you would like to be reckoned with by the people. So I is very, very important. First element. The second element is M. M stands for memorize. Now, a lot of people, we meet so many people each day. In a year, you will meet a couple of hundred people. In 10 years, you will meet a couple of thousand people. Now, it is not possible that you memorize all these people by name that you have met over a period of time. And now you're starting a career, but just imagine in 20 years down the line or 15 years down the line, when you have a bunch of cards and then you say, oh, he's the person 10 years back I have met him, you don't memorize that person. So it's very important that you should build a system in yourself by way of sorting, by way of, the way you manage the business cards and the people that you've met. And it's very important that you well memorize them. And one of the things that I have learned how to memorize the people is how to build into connection is that whenever you have met someone, you must send an email, a follow-up email to that person. Hey, it was nice meeting you on so-and-so date. Let's keep in touch. And from there, basically, you start building up a relationship with that person. And that person will also memorize you the way you need to memorize that person. So memorizing a person that you have met in a networking is very important. What should not happen is you met someone last week, and in a week's time, if you meet that same person somewhere, and all of a sudden you forgot his name. it might be quite embarrassing before that person. So it's very important that who you have met, memorize the names, memorize, based on what his company is, where he's working. It will be very useful for you at the time of leverage when you need them. Patience. Third element, very important. Do not be very quick in asking for something if you have built a relationship with a person. A lot of people make mistakes that they have met a person and tomorrow they say, hey, it was nice meeting you, I want a job from you, or I want a favor from you. Networking does not happen like that. So you have to have a patience. You have to build a degree of perseverance before you can actually invest and build into that relationship. So knowing first meeting is important, but over time, take your time, be patient, hold on your perseverance to build a relationship with that person. Because if you go too fast in building a relationship or show too much of aggression, the other person may get disappointed, and that network that you thought that you had with that person may never work at all. The fourth element, attitude. Now this is a very critical one, because when you meet people, when you are in active networking, it's an attitude that defines you more than anything else. Now, I will tell you a case. 15 years back, when I was in the starting of my career, I was attending a real estate event in New Delhi. And I had a stack of 200 cards in my pocket. And I went in that real estate event with an objective of finishing those 200 cards and getting 200 new cards. But just guess what? When I came back, I could not even relate myself with 5 people that I have met in the event. So do not do that mistake. It's not about meeting people and just collecting cards. It's about knowing the person that you're meeting. It's very, very important that the attitude has to be right. Because a lot of people make this mistake of rubber band syndrome. You collect cards, put a rubber band, throw those stack of cards in your briefcase, and then you don't even look at those cards for the next 5 years or 10 years. Don't make that mistake, guys. It's like networking and building relationship is like the way you put water in the tree, So wait for some time before the fruits are yielded, before you can really benefit from networking. So attitude has to be absolutely at the right place. Communication. Very important element, the fifth element. Communication largely can be seen that you meet 3 types. I generally look into 3 types. One is a quick greeting that you do with someone. Second is a brief chat you do with someone. The third one is conversation. Now, I am the firm believer that you should look at the third type of communication, which is getting into a conversation with someone. Because just a greeting in a networking setting will not lead you anywhere. Also, small chat will also not lead you anywhere. Try to conversate. Try to get into an engagement with the person that you're meeting. Because if you can strike a conversation with someone, I can assure you that relationship for you would be far more stronger than if you have just greeted a person or if you have just exchanged a card with that person. Try to conversate, and especially I can tell you from experience, if you can find a non-business reason to conversate, those are even better ones than a business conversations. So if you can strike a chord with the person that you're talking with on a non-business conversation, that's the best communication that you can strike. One of the most important elements in communication is be genuine. Don't be artificial. So when you meet people, don't show your separate personality. Don't show your artificialness. Do not show who you are not. Be genuine, whatever you are, whoever you are. As I just mentioned specify your DNA, what your DNA is, what your content is. Do not deviate from content, because people will remember you from what your content is. So it's very important to be genuine, to be authentic in your communication. And the last element of what impact is technology. Now, over a period of time, if you are going to build in the relationship with different people, how you are going to keep in touch with them? They don't have time. You don't have time either. So how do you ensure that you are basically going to keep in touch with them? So that is where you have to use the sixth element, and that's the element of technology. Now, what do I mean by this? I mean, use social media. Today, the best way to keep in touch with your network is the social media. How many of you here use LinkedIn? Can I see some hands? I do. Yes, fantastic. How many of you use Twitter here? Fantastic. So, these are a couple of platforms, IT platforms, that you must look at to be in touch, active touch with your users, with your network. And what is very important is you don't have to be a passive user on these platforms. If you want to really get benefit and if you want to be really actively engaged, you must be a passive user on these social platforms. Demonstrate what your content is, be on your content, keep in active touch, be on these platforms to show to your network that what you're doing and what it could be that you could mean for them. So if you apply these 6 elements of impact networking to your daily lives in the way you network, I think the success that you will achieve would be on a different level. So my suggestion, my key takeaway for you people is implicate this into your daily lives and the world will be yours. The world will be full of impact that you're going to create on this world, on different people, on society. So take on this, and I wish you all a very nice afternoon, and thank you so much.